In both bikini and wellness divisions, steroid use is rampant.
It's more than rampant, it's almost expected. The sport of bikini, it attracts females with poor mental health. Oftentimes they were neglected, they have issues, mental health problems, and so the sport attracts these people. Try dating them, trust me, I have. Coach Greg, in today's video, women are worse fake natties than men. That's right, I said it. You're thinking it's only the guys that are fake naturals, that the girls, well, it would be obvious.
I cannot hammer this into you enough. Women are worse fake naturals than men. All of the images I'm going to use are just to prove a point. It is extremely difficult to tell if a woman is using enhancements or not.
And so I get questions from women all the time saying, is this girl a fake natural? Women posting videos saying 100% natural. People send it to me and saying, do you agree? And so for the most part, the majority of women that look amazing, that have muscle, that are slim, they have lower body fat percentages, they are on steroids. You're thinking, no, it can't be, because women who use steroids, they grow beards. They look like men, they go bald. They have biceps bigger than Coach Greg. Nothing could be further from the truth. A handful of girls, rarely they get to that size, and for the most part, they're on extremely high abusive doses and they have amazing genetics. And so if you think that the local bikini girl, the best looking girl in your gym, the girl who competes in wellness, or just that fitness model's 100% natural because she looks sexy, well, you're probably 100% wrong. And so it says fake natural girls ruining women's mental health. And nothing could be further from the truth. It's 100% taking part. But why do you think that is? Why do you think there are so many fake natties that are female? Well, I'll tell you why. Do you really think it's acceptable in society for a girl to say, hey everyone, I take steroids? Imagine this. It's hard enough for men to admit it. Men taking male hormones, that's right, testosterone, for example. How easy is it for men to admit it? Men are fake natties because men don't want to admit that they're cheating, that they're taking something to help them. And so what are the chances, the odds, that you think a woman is going to come out and make a post and say, I'm a fake natty, I'm on Anavar, I'm doing testosterone primo, I'm using more steroids than last time? The answer is they're not. How often do you see it? I'm telling you, it's very rare. Almost every time I see it, I make a video about it. That's how rare it is. How many videos do I have showing what women are taking? And so when a woman opens up and says, I take Anavar, I'm not natural, it's almost shocking. Why? Because it is shocking, because we don't know about it. But yet, remember, I used to sell steroids. Used to sell them, admittedly. Was on 20 Months House Arrest. It's a long story. But remember one time I was at the gym, I was talking to three girls. Three girls were saying how hard they were training, how they were improving so much. They were looking amazing. All three of those girls, I sold them steroids. Anavar in particular. All three of them. And yet one of them said, yeah, I'm natural. And the other two were quick to respond, I'm also natural. All three girls were telling each other that they're 100% natural. Meanwhile, I literally knew with certainty that none of them were natural. I felt like saying, girls, you're all on Anavar. Thanks. But I couldn't tell them because I said I would never tell anyone what they were doing, because for the most part, people are doing it in secrets. Husbands, wives, competitors, they don't want anyone to know. They want to keep it a secret. And so when somebody makes a post on Instagram and they look incredible and they have close to 1 million followers, do you really think that that person's natural? What are the odds that they're actually natural? Slim to almost none.
I cannot hammer this into you enough. Women are worse fake naturals than men.
And so is it just steroids? No, it's not just performance-enhancing drugs. It's also filters, Photoshop, weight trainers, and so on. The women are showing photos that make it next to impossible to look like that. Even with performance-enhancing drugs, they're still most likely doctoring their photos, making their waist look smaller and their glutes look bigger. And so as a consumer of social media, the women, men, you're looking at these photos and you're thinking, I don't look anything like that. And so what do you think the results are going to be? Would you not believe there's pressures on women to look a certain way? You join the gym, perhaps you have great mental health. You feel good about yourself. Then you start comparing yourself to other gym goers, gym members. You're bombarded with photos on social media of women that you cannot aspire to look like, but yet you're encouraged to do so. And so what do you think the result's going to be? Eventually, you're going to succumb to the pressures and you're going to use performance-enhancing drugs.
All of the images I'm going to use are just to prove a point. It is extremely difficult to tell if a woman is using enhancements or not.
And this is 100% true. You're asking me all the time, do natty or nots on these girls. You simply show me a photo and say, natty or not. When I do natty or nots on men, I don't just look at the results. For example, you're looking at Coach Greg's photo I just posted on Instagram. 53% of people believe that I'm a fake natty in this photo. Even myself, they don't believe it's possible that you could look like that. Remember, it's not how you look. It's how fast did you get there, and was there a time period of which you gained more muscle than last time? For example, if you're putting on 3 pounds of muscle a year and suddenly in 1 year you put on 10, what do you think happened? You just magically learned to train harder? You just started following Jeff Nippert or Mike Israetel and wow, chicken, broccoli, and rice, main gain, new training format, reps in reserve, and I put on 10 pounds. It doesn't work like that. If you're suddenly putting on a lot of muscle, there's probably a cause of that. And it's probably not just what your training style is or how you're eating. Even with Turk Builder, which is safe for both males and females and will not cause you to fail a WADA drug test, you're not going to put on 10 pounds of muscle from just taking this. It doesn't work like that. When you're looking at a female and trying to decide, is she a fake natty, you can't just look at a single photo. Unless you were born with amazing genetics for putting on size, most likely, if you do small cycles, for example, small cycles of Anavar, Osterine, and so on, you're not going to put on so much muscle that it becomes obvious to the average viewer. You're going to have most likely what's looked as an athletic physique. You're not going to grow a beard. You're not going to have a voice change. You're not going to have an Adam's apple, and your downstairs is going to look like a female downstairs. You know what I'm talking about. What's happened is people in their minds, males and females, are conditioned to think that if a woman is not natural, she's going to have a deep voice, facial hair to beard, look like Hercules. But nothing could be further from the truth. These are women on extremely high doses or who have been abusing steroids for years. If you take your average gym goer, an ectomorph, a girl who has a thin, perhaps decent looking physique, and she goes on steroids, she's probably just going to look like a bikini model. And so why do you think they're taking them? Because that's the look they want to achieve. But even on small doses, you're slowly turning yourself into a man. If you take a little bit more than you're supposed to, year after year, the cumulative effects can be that you'll get unwanted side effects. Perhaps you're taking it a little bit too high of a dose for a little bit too long and your voice starts to change. You grow a little bit more hair. Not enough to notice, but if you do 10 of those cycles and you change 1% each time, you've now changed 10%. But imagine doing even higher doses. You change 5% each time. Maybe the first time you don't notice, but the 10th cycle, that's 50%. You're now 50% that of a man. And so if you are using performance-enhancing drugs, you need to be very careful. And for the most part, coaches could give 2 shits about what you're taking. They just want you to get the results that you're looking for right now. That amazing before and after transformation. That's where they're picking up all their clients. Look at her here and look at her here. 1 year. Oh my goodness. Yeah, in 1 year you put on too much muscle. It's obvious. And so people who are getting away with it are the ones who are most oftentimes not competing. Because if they are in fact competing, especially at the pro level or girls trying to get IBB Pro cards, you really think they're going to show up to a gunfight with a knife? I don't think so. Some will, rare. But for the most part, most girls are not natural if you're competing. Now, if you're not competing, the chances are greater that you're not taking anything. But if you look at social media and you're trying to make a living from it, you're trying to get hundreds of thousands of followers, you're trying to impress people, you're trying to get sponsored, and you feel the need to keep up with the Joneses, do you not think there's going to be so much pressure, it's going to be almost impossible to say no? You're going to use it at least just one time. One time I'll do a small cycle just to put on a little bit of muscle, mostly my glutes, and I'll then stop. Once you've done it once, you're then going to want to keep those gains. Think of it. You just put on 5 pounds of muscle in your glutes. People are commenting, wow, what happened to you? That's amazing improvements. Are you going to really want to stop? You're going to want to lose those gains? I don't think so. And so once you've done it once, most likely you're going to want to do it again.
Guys think all girls look like this on steroids, but in reality, all those hot girls floating around your boyfriend's Explore page, yeah, there's a good chance that they're using stuff.
And so girls, guys, women who take steroids, for the most part, they're not going to look like they're men. That's not going to happen. Unless they have crazy genetics, unless they're on crazy doses, it's probably not what they're going to look like.
At just age 17, 78% of girls are unhappy with their bodies.
And so think of it, 78% of girls unhappy with their bodies. And so if you're one of those 78% of women and you're going to the gym and you're training to try to improve your body, and you find out that taking Anavar, Ostarine, Rad140, LGD, 4033, growth hormone, peptides, MK677, the list goes on, that can make a difference, that perhaps you'll build muscle 10 times faster, are you not going to be tempted to do so? Think of it, you have low self-esteem, low self-image, low self-worth, and you know that in a pill, if you take that pill, it's going to improve it. You're going to look better. How are you going to say no? How do we expect them to say no? And so why not just be open and honest about it? Open, honest, and transparent as many men seem to be doing. Well, I'll tell you why, because it's not as accepted for women to do so as of men. Think of men 15, 20 years ago. How many men admitted to taking steroids? Not many. I remember when I started making videos on YouTube, people were saying, I can't believe you're open about it. I can't believe you're telling other people. At that time, it was not accepted in the least. People would keep it hush-hush. But years have gone by. Many people have outed themselves and said, hey, I'm doing this and doing that. And for the most part, these people have been accepted with open arms. Guys like myself, think of it. I admitted to taking steroids, talked about my cycles, and I have 2 million followers. And so people see that and they're like, well, it worked for Coach Greg. I'm going to do it. I'm going to glorify the use of steroids. Many people are actually doing that. And so when males come out and say they're taking this, taking that, people aren't shitting on them, at least not if they're just being honest about it. But what about the women? Women, I can't think off the top of my head, anyone ultra famous, ultra popular who says, I take this, I take that. For the most part, women, they don't say anything. And if you accuse a girl of taking steroids, well, you're a misogynist. You're putting them down. How dare you? You're jealous. And then somebody can make a YouTube, TikTok, Instagram video making fun of you. This guy, look at this guy. He doesn't think she's natural. Then they're going to say, oh, it's a compliment, because anyone that thinks that you're not natural, it's got to be a compliment. Well, kinda it is. If you're being accused of taking steroids and you're not, it is a compliment. I can't believe you get a body like that while being natural. And if you are natural, it is in fact a compliment. But if you're not natural and they call you out and you say, hey, you're just jealous, do you see the problem? Do you see how this can go on?
How do you think they feel when the girls they look up to are telling them, you can look like me, but they're on steroids?
And so if you see a girl and she's deadlifting 600 plus pounds and a guy types in, how many steroids are you taking? It doesn't necessarily mean that the man is a bad person. He might be trying to say, look, people, this is not natural. If you're lifting over 600 pounds and look like this, chances are probably not natural. How is that bad? I don't think it's inherently bad for people to question whether somebody is natural or enhanced. I think that doing so allows people who are in fact natural to understand that you should be having realistic expectations. That you can't expect to deadlift 600 plus pounds just because you go to the gym, train harder than last time, and follow everyone's proper gym content. But remember, it's not just people deadlifting over 600 pounds. It's also just the average woman. Why do you think a woman would take steroids to just look average? Why do you think? Perhaps you're 5'9" female and you're 120 pounds. You're very thin. Perhaps you want to have some glutes, a derriere. You're trying to fit in. You're trying to attract a mate. Very competitive. You take some Anavar, you do some squats, some hip thrusts, and lo and behold, you've now got a derriere. And so why would you then admit to it? Why are you going to come out and make an Instagram post and say, hey everyone, I wanted you to know that I took Anavar? Probably not going to say it. And so for the most part, what happens is people say nothing. They just make their post. Hi, this is how I look. They're not going to say how they got there. And so they really need to, well, not really. There's no expectation that you have to say what you're taking. But remember this. When you see that girl that you want to look like, that you want to emulate, your hero, the chances are she is not natural. If she's not talking about it whatsoever, she's probably not natural. You can't expect for people to broadcast that they're taking banned performance-enhancing drugs or drugs that perhaps are illegal in your own country. Remember, I'm from Canada. We can take these things. The charges, they're a lot lower. It's not illegal to use steroids in Canada. It's only legal to sell them. But in the United States, legal to possess, to use, to sell, all illegal. Less, of course, they're prescribed by your doctor.
About half of all teenage girls are citing social social media for the reason why they feel so badly about their bodies.
50% of girls saying social media is causing them to feel bad about their bodies. And so imagine if you're going to the gym and you're scrolling Instagram and you're seeing all these bodies, are you not going to be tempted to use something to get the same body as you have? And so remember, if you're scrolling through social media and you see the girls that you're looking up to, you're thinking, that's the body I want, that's the woman of my dreams. Are you not going to be tempted to use something to get that body? 50% of people saying that social media is the cause of their mental health problems and 78% of females not liking their bodies. Are you actually surprised that they would use something?
In both bikini and wellness divisions, steroid use is rampant.
It's more than rampant. It's almost expected. If I see a girl who's in bikini or wellness and she looks amazing and I find out that she's literally legit natural, she is a rare girl. Rare. Does anyone compete in these competitions while being natural? Even in drug-tested competitions for bikini and wellness, the ones who look the best, most likely not natural. They're using things in the off-season and stopping before the competition. You could literally use test suspension for 50 weeks of the year, stop, and pass the drug test in 2 weeks with ease. Anavar, probably stop a month before the competition, you're going to pass. And so you do a 4-month prep. The first 3 months you take Anavar, which is a banned steroid. And the last month you stop, you're probably going to pass the test. And so do you really think that just because it's drug tested, of which they rarely even drug test anyone, it's drug tested, but we're not testing anyone? Do you know how often that happens? Do you really think that these women are in fact 100% natural? Or are they just doing this competition to say, see, I'm natural, I told you?
The girls that are on the steroids and lying about it probably have the same exact body image issues as all of the girls that they're messing up.
And if you think that just because you have an amazing physique that you don't have body issues, that woman who competes in the Olympia or the woman that won that competition, the women who look the best, you're thinking, I would do anything to trade bodies with them. Do you really think that they have great mental health? I don't think so. The amount of women who have an ED, they're eating food and getting rid of it. Number 3 in the bathroom. They've suffered from rexia when they were younger, or they're suffering from it right now. The sport of bikini, it attracts females with poor mental health. Oftentimes they were neglected, they have issues, mental health problems, and so the sport attracts these people. Try dating them. Trust me, I have. And so what you'll discover is that many of them, they grew up and they had an ED. Many of them, they grew up without a father. Many of them, they hate their bodies. They hate how they appear. They don't like the way they look. And so they're in the sport of bikini because, hey, you can diet down to 12 or 13% body fat. You can be shredded so lean that you don't even look healthy. But yet the sport rewards it. Rewarded with a first place. You're on a severely restricted diet. You're not eating healthy. You perhaps are going to the bathroom for number 3 every single day, but you're winning. You're being glorified. You're being praised. Wow, great job. Amazing. Meanwhile, you have amenorrhea, you're medicated, you have poor mental health, but because the sport is rewarding this look, you keep doing it. These women are oftentimes going to get plastic surgery, they're going to get breast implants, they're going to get lip filler, Botox, all kinds of fillers, Photoshop, waist trainers, and perhaps not glute implants, but glute filler. They're going to feel like they don't measure up, that they're not good enough. And how could they be? How could they ever be good enough? Look at what you're seeing on social media. These women, they're not natural. And not only are they not natural, they're literally using Photoshop and they're editing their pictures. They're using the best camera angles, downlighting, everything to make their waist look smaller and their glutes look bigger. And they've been caught a number of times. And so you're trying to look like your favorite fitness influencer, yet even that person does not look like themselves. And so what chance do the women have? They have none. And so what advice do I have? Well, here is the only advice you can listen to. Compare yourself to yourself. Stop comparing yourself to other people. If you keep comparing yourself to others, you're never going to measure up. Even if you did measure up, even if you were the best, you had the most amazing physique, even with the steroids, you get that physique, you post a picture, but remember this, your waist probably not small enough. It's not been photoshopped. Your glutes probably not big enough. You're going to now have to alter the photo, alter the lighting, the camera angles in order to keep up with everyone else. And so if you compare yourself to other people, you're never going to be happy. And so what do? You compare yourself to yourself. You do the best that you can do. Can you be better today than you were yesterday? And can you be better tomorrow than you were today? And don't judge and put everything on your self-worth based on how you look. If the scale never went down 1 or 2 days, weeks, months, years, it's okay. Do your best. Are you in fact healthy? And healthy is not just the physical, mental, physical, social, spiritual, everything. Are you feeling well? Wellness, the real definition of wellness, it has nothing to do with women competing in that sport. It's about being healthy in all aspects of life. Now remember, if you are trying to stay natural and you're trying to put on as much muscle as possible, be at your ultimate best, of course, you don't need to use supplements, but if you want to, there are natural supplements. Harder Than Last Time, my company literally has things like Turk Builder, GO2 Max, Acti Builder that can make a significant difference in your performance. Not only that, we have creatine, which is 50% off. We have pre-workouts, protein powders, and we have Seco protein bars that taste amazing. And so if you're trying to get in the shape of your life, develop a lean physique that you can maintain year-round, look no further than Harder Than Last Time. Head over to my website, click the link in the description, and don't forget to enter code GREG because it's going to save you 15% off. I'm sure you remember about the cookbooks, the Circle Diet book, How to Lose Weight, Keep It Off for the rest of your life. And so if you're interested in these low-calorie, delicious recipes for the big eaters, get over to my website. Close to 100,000 copies have been sold. Remember, I have over 920 million views on YouTube. That's a lot. Lives have been changed. And if you're interested and you have no money, get to my website. Nearly 100,000 people have gotten the free diet and training program, How to Lose Weight, Keep It Off. And it's not just one copy. Remember, it's literally customized to your individual needs based on how many calories you need. And so whether you need 3,000, 2,500, 2,000, 1,500 calories, the diet is there for you. What are you waiting for? Don't say I never did anything for you. And while you're there, could you become one of the 300,000 plus newsletter subscribers? We send information on sales, diets, videos, what you might be interested in. So please head over there right now. Don't abuse steroids. And if you are considering them, please wait. Go and see your doctor. Never, ever break the law and only do so with the advice and consent from your doctor. And I am not your doctor. Subscribe, click the bell button, comment to boost the algorithm, like the video, watch one of the two bloops. Of course, the cookbooks, coaching plans by me and my team, the training books, all of this stuff. Get over to the website, code GREG 50% off. And until next time, I am out.